Hello, good morning. I am Karen Locke Kolp, and welcome to this how-to video for parents. I am the founder of WeTurnedOutOK.com. I host a podcast, and actually you can see from my microphone, we're recording for that as well. I am a child development expert with more than 14 years experience directly helping parents and kids. And today I am getting in here because we've got a situation. One of our Ninja Parenting community members has a situation in her home and her life, and I wanted to help her, give her direct help, but also I thought these are the what I'm going to teach today are extremely useful tools for you if you have a child who is doing a lot of tantruming, a lot of kicking, a lot of aggression, and you just feel like it's completely out of control and you do not know what to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read from one of the posts that this ninja parent posted in our private community forums, and she writes, "Parenting just feels awful these days. I'm trying so hard to do the right things and trying so hard to be positive and consistent. We had a great start to our evening, followed by a kicking, hitting mess of a bedtime. He was yawning in the car on the way home and said he was tired. I don't know if that was the problem, but as soon as it was time to start the bedtime routine, all hell broke loose. Usually that's the part that goes well. And he totally flipped out during our bedtime routine. He continued to scream and demand things rudely. I mean, can you just hear my heart goes out to you, my friend. I know you can hear the upset and sorrow, and it's just so hard. I just wanted to kind of interject that. I'm here with you, and I'm reading this, I hope in a voice that helps you understand. I get this. I've felt and experienced these things and seen them with other parents as well. She continues, I laid down with him to sing his bedtime song, and I had to leave the room and stop the bedtime song because he kicked me out of frustration that he didn't get his bedtime books. Usually bedtime goes pretty well, so I'm at a loss. It feels like we are just trading one meltdown for another these days. Yesterday, the outing was the meltdown, and then bedtime was fine. Today, it's the opposite. I just can't win. And I just feel for you. First of all, huge hugs. Second of all, we've got some tools to help. So I want you to take heart. There are some things that you can use to get yourself through these tough times. And I think the first thing I just want to say is that this is, I think when we get into parenting, we do not realize the depths of feeling and emotions that we can have. There's a huge well inside of us that we don't even realize is there. And then we can feel such love and at the same time such incredible frustration, and it can make us, this is what I really hear in here, it can make us kind of question our own parenting. And I want to give you permission to not beat yourself up every time something like this happens. The daily interactions with toddlers, with preschoolers, can feel incredibly fraught because we think we're doing the right thing. We think everything is going well, and then it can just turn on a dime. And so that is what this client of mine, this ninja parent, is experiencing right now. And if you are watching this, maybe you're experiencing it too. And so I just want to give you some hugs as well. And if you're listening, because this is also going out as a podcast episode. So the first tool I want to teach is the idea that I want you to think about like our kids' development and the interactions that our kids have as they develop. So this was taught to me a long time ago, and it's something that's taken me through all of not just my parenting, but my teaching and working with parents. The idea that kids have each interaction that we have with a child, or each interaction that a child has, we can consider it one brick in a foundation of a house. And so within our child, each of us, I guess even within us, we each have a little house our psyche, our lives, our minds, our thinking are all built upon this incredible, beautiful foundation. And this foundation is made of bricks, is how I was taught to think of it. And this has really worked for me. Um, and each brick is one interaction, one tiny exchange, one bit of learning. And when you are in the thick of it, every single one of those bricks can feel like it is the biggest thing in the world, and it can feel incredibly heavy and awful as you're trying to lift those bricks and put them in place. And what I want to encourage you to do is to pull back and look at the foundation as a whole. So if you have a toddler or a preschooler or an early elementary school child, you're actively building those foundations with your child, and you are helping your child to get the best possible foundation that they could possibly have. And if you pull back and look at this, you can see, first of all, how huge the foundation is and how tiny each individual brick is within it. And what I want you to think about is how lovingly you are trying to shape these foundations, and just how much care you are placing each brick with. And I want to reassure you that some of the bricks are going to be off. Some of them are going to have mortar that comes out more one way than the other. Some of the bricks are going to be a little bit sideways, and you know what? That is a-okay, because this whole thing as a whole is a really super solid foundation, and most of those bricks are going to be just fine. In fact, they're gonna contribute to this beautiful whole. That is your child's psyche. And as your child is developing, I want to ask you to not emphasize to yourself um, only the bricks that get placed that are a little bit off, because within this post, within even this post, there's a whole bunch of things that went right. So what I didn't read before, but what I will read now is this. So think about all the bricks that are in just these few sentences I'm about to read, okay? All the well-placed bricks. His before and after care teacher said he had a good day today. I didn't hear anything from the preschool teacher, which to me, as I'm thinking, means that things went well there as well. And we had a great trip to the library and brought books home. Dinner went well, and we played for a few minutes, and I went into the bedtime routine with a positive mindset. It seemed like we were off to a good start. I mean, like, just in that, there are probably 50 bricks that are all incredibly positive, between the interactions that this ninja parent had with the before and after care teacher, with getting in the car to go to the library, with getting everything out of daycare to get into the car. I mean, you can back this up and think about all the bricks that were placed incredibly well and beautifully here. And so if things, the vast majority of our days and our evenings with our kids um, are going to be well placed bricks. And I feel like what I want to emphasize here is that the ones that aren't, so the ones that our child is trying to kind of kick out of place with things like with literally kicking or screaming or a meltdown or whatever. This ninja parent did an incredibly beautiful job of sticking with the tools that we teach in the ninja parenting community. For example, she I'm just looking to make sure I can find what I want to find here. He usually loves a timer. So this coaching client put the timer on, and what happened was he freaked out. So she turned the timer off. When he was trying to push boundaries, she basically would say, okay, I'm sorry, but you've lost books for tonight. You can try again tomorrow night. Like, every one of those bricks that she was placing in her child's foundations was the right brick. And so that even makes it stronger, because what's happening is she is holding those boundaries, and she's holding those foundations solid and steady. And that's going to get us into the next one, which the next tool, which I want to get to, but I just want to finish up with this idea first. So if you think about your child's foundational house that you are that he or she is building in their minds, and then you think about all the thousands of bricks that get placed there over a week or a month, and the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of bricks that get placed there over these early years, think of them as mostly solid and well placed. Okay, and the ones that are not solid and well placed, they're at a minimum, first of all, and second of all, that those are the ones that are going to make they're going to help make this unique. And as long as you are doing your best to have positive to help place bricks positively, and as long as you can keep in this mindset of like, this is just one tiny interaction, and I can always try again. We can always try again to make things better. Um, Try it and really pull out and go to the 10,000-foot view and make it so that every one of these bricks doesn't have a massive significance. Like, it is okay to screw up when we are raising them, and it is okay to 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 feel like everything's not perfect, because everything is just not going to be perfect. And the more personalized that foundation is to your child, the better. And so with that, I want to go on to the next tool that I want you to think about. So within this description, there's a lot of what I think of as boundary pushing. And the way that I was taught this decades ago as a preschool teacher, and it has stayed with me through raising my own kids. It has stayed with me through working with parents, both in the podcast and also more directly. Um, we can think of ourselves as everyone has a cozy little room in our heads right up here. And that room is a comfortable, safe place. And our job as parents is to keep our child's room to be comfortable in a safe place. And a lot of this has to do with helping it so that their walls stay steady. So imagine if your child runs down the hall. I'm sure that's not too much in the realm of imagination. It's probably more like, oh yes, they run down the hall a lot. And so what we're teaching our kids, we teach with these little tiny interactions. So yesterday they ran down the hall and you were really super frustrated and you shouted at them and you said, "You don't run down that hall again. You go to your room right now and you stay there. You're missing dinner because you ran down the hall." Okay, that is an extreme reaction. I really hope that was not your reaction. Much better to say something along the lines of, "Please use your walking feet inside. Oh, remember your walking feet," instead of freaking out, right? But say you did that yesterday and your child felt really punished and was like, "Oh God, like, I'm afraid to run down the hall now." And then, but the next day, because this is the nature of childhood, the next day, they run down the hall again. And this time what you do is you go, fine, run down the hall, do whatever you need to do. And you don't do anything as they run back and forth up and down the hall. And what happens here is we have moved our child's walls in their own head. We set a boundary yesterday, and today we changed that boundary. So what we did was we created an earthquake in their little room in their head. And instead of those extremes, what we want to try and do is have a consistent sort of, "Oh, remember your walking feet. Remember your walking feet." It's always positive, and as much as possible. Again, remember, these are each brick. So if one of these bricks you lose it and yell, you can always lay another brick. So don't worry about killing yourself when you screw up. That is the nature of this, right? And then the other way I want you to think about this is from the child's perspective. They're going to run down the hall again because they want you to keep a consistent boundary. They want you to keep those walls steady. So what we are doing is we are helping them understand where the walls are when we are consistent. And so through this, all of the interactions that this coaching client, that this ninja parent talks about, she is doing an incredible job of keeping those boundaries the same. She is not moving her child's walls, even though he is pushing on them as hard as he can. And this little guy has been through quite a few extremely positive, wonderful, really good changes in the last few months. They have moved from a not optimal daycare. They have moved to a whole new neighborhood in a whole new city. They are now in a new apartment, and again, it's all wonderful. It's really it's it's really great. And these have been incredibly positive decisions that this ninja parent has made for her and her child. She's a single mom. You are doing an amazing job, and I'm so proud of you. Um, and you've got a great kid, and he is also doing the best that he can with all of these changes. And then more recently, things at the new daycare shifted from camp to preschool. And so there's a whole bunch of new routines, and there is not as much time in free play. And so those walls it is now more important than ever to keep those walls consistent, because this little guy is pushing on those walls. He is kicking them, he is hitting them, he is doing everything he can to make sure that he's safe and that these walls don't move. I think that's really what I want you to take from this. This is the work of childhood. This is a really significant part of the work of childhood, to test those boundaries and see that they are safe. We want this room to be as cozy as possible. We want them to get the most out of this that they possibly can. And the way that we do that is by, when they push and kick and hit on those walls, we make sure that we keep those walls steady, and we tell them the positive things, and we help them understand that we are going to uphold these rules no matter what. And again, if we slip, sometimes that is okay, as long as we're holding these walls most of the time. And we can do that by continually, like, there's so much positive reinforcement. This ninja parent keeps saying things like, you get to try again tomorrow. I hope you have books the next time we are doing our bedtime routine. Oh, the timer, you'll get to use the timer tomorrow. There's been a lot of, like, when they get in the car, sometimes he can't hold himself steady, and he's got to try and kick at these walls. And so they're on their way to the car, and he can't hold hands, or he can't stay. They have a little, I think it's called a magnet. It's like a little dot that the hand stays on until it's time to get into the car. And I love these incredibly useful tools. They're very positive, but a kid is going to push on those walls by seeing, what happens if I do this? What happens if I do it again? What happens if I do it now? And staying consistent is so important. And then I think I'm gonna bring in a third here. And again, this ninja parent is incredibly good at this. I'm so proud of you. We got to celebrate the well-placed bricks. We got to celebrate the tiny moments where it goes well. So yes, one way to look at this is that you're feeling like you just can't win. The outing came at bed. The outing was fine today, and the meltdown came at bedtime, which feels like so hard and incongruous. And I totally get that. And I'm so sorry for you that it's like this, and I wish it wasn't. I mean, I remember those feelings from when I had kids and they tantrumed. One of my kids probably had an average of maybe 6 to 10 tantrums every day, meltdowns every single day, going through exactly this point. There's so much going on inside, and they need us to hold those walls and provide a positive and steady, safe place for them. And because you, my ninja parent, because we know that the changes that have been going on in your life, and we know these we know that they're positive, but we also know that they're simply changes. And he is looking to keep those walls. He's looking to still have a cozy and safe room, and to do that, he's pushing on those walls. He's pressing the boundaries. He may do it for a while longer, and I want you to know this and expect it, and know that he's actually doing exactly what he needs to do. And the more consistent you can stay, and the more positive you can keep your mindset, the better. We've been talking about mantras in the ninja parenting community. So we've been talking about developing, I don't know if it's a mantra or mantra, but that word that means like we are with the things that we repeat to ourselves when the going gets tough, and they are relentlessly positive, and they are small and short and sweet, and we can keep them in mind even when the going gets tough. This is a long game we're playing here. And I know that you can win this game by staying consistent, thinking about those bricks, not judging yourself too hard for the bricks that don't, get put into place perfectly, because there's a whole lot more that are put into place beautifully. Making sure that we keep the boundaries, we keep, even as they're trying that we don't move their walls, that we keep those walls steady for them, and celebrating when things go right. A lot went right in this day. So you could also look at it, instead of feeling like you just can't win, tonight, if it's happening again, think to yourself, like, how did I win today? You know what? I won by getting him successfully. You just got out of the bathroom and got him into bed, right? That's a success. It's a success every time you don't move those walls, and it's a success every time you get him or her, if you're watching and you're not this particular ninja parent. It's a success every time you get them through another part of a tough day. It's a success, and I'm here with you, and I just want you to know that. Yeah, so these 3 tools, thinking about the bricks in this foundation and how it's such a huge foundation, and each brick is not very big, and we can always try again with more bricks, right? Keeping those walls steady so that they are safe, and they know they're safe, and they feel that, and this is how they learn it, because they push on those walls. And celebrating even the tiniest wins, the tiniest ones, and thinking on them, and going to the positive. That's how you will. That's how you'll succeed here. That's how you will end up at the end of at the end of today, at the end of this hour, at the end of this month, this year, when your child is a little bit older, and you can look back and you go, wow, they really did push those boundaries. They really did push on those walls. That was a time where they needed me to be consistent, and I did it. And it's a daily momentary thing. And so I have a lot of sympathy for you, and a lot of empathy and compassion if you're in that, because I was in it, and I came through it, and I help other parents get through it. This is the kind of help that I am really good at offering. This is the kind of help that really helps parents. And I can help you too. I can help you really closely, either as a private coaching client or in our ninja parenting community as a parent. Please go to WeTurnedOutOK.com. That's OKAY. WeTurnedOutOK.com/join NPC. And that's all one word, because it's the ninja parenting community. So join NPC. If you want to learn about working more closely with me in the ninja parenting community, you can go to WeTurnedOutOK.com/work-with-me. Again, all one word, to find out more about how, if you're coming through something big like a divorce, or you've just found out that your child has a developmental issue, or a learning delay or something like that, and you need, I do work with clients really closely, and that involves us working together like daily. So think on that if you need something that's a little bit more. And if you just want a little boost, listen to the podcast. And if you just want a little bit more of a boost, join my weekly parenting newsletter, which is, I try to share tools like this is going to be the subject of next week's newsletter. This is a really biggie and important one. I've done ones on the most dangerous place on the internet, which is YouTube, and how to protect your child. It's funny because I'm recording this in YouTube, but I also do believe that it can be a very, very dangerous place if you don't know what you're doing. And a lot of times little kids do not know what they're doing, and so it can be very dangerous for them. So those are the kinds of tools that I offer with the newsletter. It is available at, again, WeTurnedOutOK.com/weekly, WEEKLY. And that's a lot of the ways that I can help you. If you have a question or something a situation that you want to talk more about with me, I'm very happy to do that. Go to WeTurnedOutOK.com/contact, or email me, Karen@WeTurnedOutOK.com. And just want to say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really hope that this has been helpful for you. And my heart goes out to you if you are in this situation. And also I want a sense of confidence to go out to you too. I know you can do this. I know you can, I know you can do this. I know you've got this. Let me know if I can be of more help. And I will talk to you soon. So to this ninja parent, I will see you in the forums. And hopefully if you're not this ninja parent, but you're another one, I'll see you in the forums too. And if all else fails, I will see you on the podcast. I will see you in our newsletter, our weekly newsletter group. And cheers. Talk to you soon. Bye.